Vikingsholm is a 38-room mansion on the shore of Emerald Bay at Lake Tahoe, in Dorado County, California, and it's on the National Register of Historic Places. It has been called one of the finest examples of Scandinavian architecture in North America. Vikingsholm was built by Laura Josephine Knight as a summer home. The foundation was laid in 1928, and the building was constructed in 1929 by around 200 workers. Before starting construction, Knight and her architect traveled to Scandinavia to gather ideas for the house. Some parts of the structure contain no nails or spikes, as a result of old-fashioned construction methods. Most of the building was made from local materials. While Mrs. Knight is known for building Vikingsholm, she and her businessman and second husband Harry were also primary backers of Charles Lindbergh's non-stop solo flight across the Atlantic Ocean in 1927. Laura Josephine Knight was an American philanthropist who was at one time one of the wealthiest women in America, according to newspaper reports. Vikingsholm was her summertime retreat. She was born in Galena, Illinois, in 1864 to lawyer Edward Small. She married James Hobart Moore, who she met while he worked with her father in his law practice, and who along with his brother became rich by gaining controlling interests in a large number of companies such as the Diamond Match Company, U.S. Steel, Union Pacific, and Nabisco. In 1884, the two had a son, Nathaniel Moore, who later married Helen Fargo, heiress to the Wells Fargo fortune. He won a gold medal in the 1904 Summer Olympics as part of American golf team and was known for his lavish parties, but died at 25 in 1910 after a night in Chicago's most famous and expensive house of prostitution, which made national news and led to a citywide crackdown on brothels and morphine abuse in Chicago. Laura and James bought land at Carnelian Bay on Lake Tahoe to build a large home named Winch Wood. However, her husband's health began failing, and he died on July 20, 1916, leaving her with an estate of at least $15 million. In 1922, she married stockbroker Harry French Knight of St. Louis. As president of the St. Louis Flying Club, Harry Knight knew Charles Lindbergh, and the Knights were major financial backers of Lindbergh's 1927 solo flight from New York to Paris in the spirit of St. Louis. Lindbergh even stayed at the Knight's house the night before his flight. In 1927, she divorced Harry Knight, charging him with extreme cruelty. She risked losing her entire fortune from her first marriage as part of the divorce. Despite the divorce, Laura continued to use her ex-husband's last name. Knight sold her Wickwood home to San Francisco businessman Robert Stanley Dollar Sr. In the summer of 1929, Knight built Vikingsholm, the house she is most known for, buying the 240 acres of land in Emerald Bay in Lake Tahoe from William Henry Armstrong, who she knew through her church, for $250,000. She hired Swedish architect Lennart Palm, who she was related through marriage, and chose a Scandinavian motif based on Palm's own home in New York. Knight often entertained guests, such as her friend Charles Lindbergh, at Vikingsholm. She also built a small tea house on Fannette Island inside the bay. This is all that is left of the tea house today. What a fabulous spot to sip tea! Vikingsholm, along with Knight's tea house on Fannette Island, is a part of Emerald Bay State Park, which has been declared a National Natural Landmark. Tours are given of the castle and museum for a nominal fee. There are 6 buildings on the property that are considered to be part of Vikingsholm: the main house, the workshop, the duplex, the tea house, the transformer building, and the gardener's cottage. In addition to the buildings, some of the rock retaining walls, the water tanks, and the entrance from the highway were also constructed during the time Mrs. Knight owned the property. As you may have guessed, Laura finally sold off this estate to Harvey West, a wealthy lumberman who owned the land after Knight, who then sold it to the state of California for half of the appraised value in 1953. I cannot imagine how much this place would be worth now to buy it. Another note, Harvey West bought Vikingsholm with all of Laura's original furniture that remains there to this day. The main house is made up of 4 rectangular wings that enclose a courtyard. Pine and fir siding with ornamental hand carvings cover the wall surfaces, or they are exposed stone. The east wing is the main wing of the house, with a square 3-story tower at the north end and a 2-story tower at the south end. Scandinavian serpent designs are carved into the wood above the door, and windows facing the lake, and above the door facing the courtyard. The walls of the east wing were built to resemble those of Olive and Linna, a stone castle built in 1015 AD, and used light color mortar with dark-colored stones. The north and south wings have gabled sod roofs that feature an original sprinkler system. These roofs historically featured wildflowers and grasses, but since the removal of the fir trees in the courtyard, now it only grows grass. The north wing was used for storage and servants' quarters, and the south wing was used as a workshop and garage. The west wing had an apartment for the caretaker along with laundry facilities. The original roof was made of split logs held in place without nails or spikes, but a replacement shingled roof was built after a tree fell on this section of the building. The west entry to the apartment has a covered porch with ornamental carvings, which were based on carvings at a church entrance that the architect observed while visiting Scandinavia. Here is a look at some of the original interior spaces with all of Laura's personal furnishings. If you are in South Lake Tahoe near Emerald Bay, you should visit Vikingsholm and maybe the tea house too. Have you been here? Leave a comment if so and tell me what you think. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for more videos about Northern California's awesome history. And as always, happy trails!